Literature allows a person to step back in time and learn from those who walked before us. We can gather a better understanding of culture and have a greater appreciation of them. We learn through the ways history is recorded in the forms of manuscripts and through speech itself. Literary analysis is a vital stage in the development of your critical thinking skills. This lesson will help us strengthen what we know and will also help us transform learning meaningfully. This session will also provide you powerful lessons on the different processes in writing an independent critique on a given or chosen selection and the different parts of a literary essay. Greetings, grade 10 students! Welcome to Bamboo Telescuela. This is your school on the air in English 10. I am Teacher RJ. Make sure to get your modules with you and tune in to your radio and television. We are also streaming live at SDO Kawayan Facebook page. Please be reminded of our learning objectives for today. First, identify the guidelines in composing an independent critique on a given selection and determine the different parts of a literary essay. Before we proceed to the main discussion, let us have a short review of your last lesson. Last week, you learned the concept of feminism as a literary approach. Feminist criticism applies principles of feminism to the literature you are reading. Theorists examine how gendered the language and symbols are in the literature. Some theorists view that the way men write a literary piece is different from the way women write a literary piece. Thus, analyzing how the gender of the author affects how the literary piece was written. Here are the questions to consider when using the lens of a feminist approach. First, how is the relationship between men and women portrayed? Second, what are the power relationships between men and women? Third, are characters assuming male or female roles? Fourth, how are male and female roles defined? Fifth, how do the characters embody these traits? Sixth, do characters take on traits from opposite genders? How so? How does this change others' reactions to them? Seventh, what does the work reveal about the operations of patriarchy? Eighth, what does the work imply about the possibilities of sisterhood as a mode of resisting patriarchy? And ninth, are women showed positively, negatively, or neutrally? These are just some of the highlights of your lesson in feminist criticism last week. I hope you have learned a lot from your previous lessons. These lessons will take a big part in our learning for today. The purpose of a literary analysis essay is to carefully examine and sometimes evaluate a work of literature or an aspect of a work of literature. As with any analysis, this requires you to break the subject into its component parts. Examining the different elements of a piece of literature is not an end in itself, but rather a process to help you understand and appreciate the work of literature as a whole. For instance, an analysis of a poem might deal with the different types of images in a poem, or with the relationship between the form and the content of the work. If you were to analyze a play, you might analyze the relationship between a subplot and a main plot, or you might analyze the character flow of the tragic hero by tracing how it is revealed through the acts of the play. As you develop your writing skills, you will also improve your perceptions and increase your critical abilities. Writing ultimately boils down to the development of an idea. Your objective in writing a literary analysis essay is to convince the person reading your essay that you have supported the idea you are developing. Bucks County Community College provides us with an easy and comprehensive discussion in writing a literary analysis essay. Basically, the main parts of a solid literary essay or an independent critic are the following: the title, introduction, thesis statement, body, and conclusion. Let us dig deeper on how are we going to write a basic structure for each part. The introduction to your literary analysis essay should try to capture your reader's interest. To bring immediate focus to your subject, you may want to use a quotation, a provocative question, a brief anecdote, a startling statement, or a combination of these. You may also want to include background information relevant to your thesis and necessary for the reader to understand the position you are taking. In addition, you need to include the title of the work and the name of the author. The first paragraph of Alberto Alvaro Rio's short story, The Secret Lion, presents a 12-year-old boy's view of growing up. Everything changes. As the narrator informs the reader, when the magician pulls a tablecloth out from under a pile of dishes, children are amazed at the stay-the-same part, while adults focus only on the tablecloth itself. Adults have the benefit of experience and know the trick will work as long as the technique is correct. When people grow up, they gain this experience and knowledge but lose their innocence and sense of wonder. In other words, the price paid for growing up is a permanent sense of loss. This trade-off is central to The Secret Lion. The key symbols in the story reinforce its main theme. Change is inevitable and always accompanied by a sense of loss. Part of the introduction is the thesis statement. The thesis statement tells your reader what to expect. It is a restricted, precisely worded declarative sentence that states the purpose of your essay, the point you are trying to make. Without carefully conceived thesis, an essay has no chance of success. The following are thesis statements which could work for a 500 or 750 word literary analysis essay. Gwendolyn Brooks' 1960 poem The Ballad of Rudolph Reed demonstrates how the poet uses the conventional poetic form of the ballad to treat the unconventional poetic subject of racial intolerance. Typically, the thesis statement falls at the end of your introductory paragraph. The term regularly used for the development of the central idea is the body. In this section, you present the paragraphs, at least 3 paragraphs for a 500 to 750 word essay that support your thesis statement. Good literary analysis essays contain an explanation of your ideas and evidence from the text, be it short story, poem, or play, that supports those ideas. Textual evidence consists of summary, paraphrase, specific details, and direct quotations. Each paragraph should contain a topic sentence, which is usually the first sentence of the paragraph, which states one of the topics associated with your thesis, combined with some assertions about how the topic will support the central idea. The purpose of the topic sentence is twofold. First is to relate the details of the paragraph to your thesis statement, and second, to tie the details of the paragraph together. The substance of each of your developmental paragraphs, or the body of your essay, will be the explanations, summaries, paraphrases, specific details, and direct quotations you need to support and develop the more general statement you have made in your topic sentence. Samu's description of the A&B present a setting that is ugly, monotonous, and rigidly regulated. The chain store is a common fixture in modern society, so the reader can identify with uniformity Sami describes. The fluorescent light is as blondly cool as the checkerboard green and cream rubber tile floor. The usual traffic in the store moves in one direction, except for the swimsuited girls who move against it, and everything is neatly organized and categorized in tidy aisles. The dehumanizing routine of this environment is suggested by Sammy's offhand references to the typical shoppers as sheep, house slaves, and pigs. These regular customers seem to work through the store in a stopper. As Sammy indicates, not even dynamite could move them out of their routine. This paragraph is a strong one because it is developed through the use of quotations, summary, details, and explanation to support the topic sentence. Notice how it relates back to the thesis statement. Your literary analysis essay should have a concluding paragraph that gives your essay a sense of completeness and lets your readers know that they have come to an end of your paper. Your concluding paragraph might restate the thesis in different words, summarize the main points you have made, or make a relevant comment about the literary work you are analyzing, but from a different perspective. Do not introduce a topic sentence in your conclusion. Below is the concluding paragraph from the essay already quoted above about Browning's poem My Lost Duchess. If the joke has any redeeming qualities, they fail to appear in the poem. Browning's emphasis on the joke's traits of arrogance, jealousy, and materialism make it apparent that anyone who might have known the joke would have based his opinion of him on these three personality flaws. Ultimately, the reader's opinion of the joke is not a favorable one, and it is clear that Browning intended that the reader feel this way. It is essential that you give your essay a title that is descriptive of the approach you are taking in your paper. Just as you did in your introductory paragraph, try to get the reader's attention. Using only the title of the literary work you are examining is unsatisfactory. Robert Browning's joke, A Portrayal of a Sinister Man, is a good example of a title for your literary analysis essay. And that's it! We have just discussed the different parts of a literary essay and how to write them based on the examples. Do not forget that a literary analysis essay must have a title, an introduction, where the thesis statement is also located, the body which elaborates the introduction, and the thesis statement and the conclusion. That wraps up our lesson. I hope you have enjoyed and learned something new today. It has been a great day of learning and discovery. See you again next Monday, same time from 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Follow the Facebook page of SBO Kawayan for more live updates and information. This has been Teacher RJ for Bamboo Telescope, bringing education in the comforts of your home. Be safe and all the best. Aluka,